We did a few looks for her for the Renaissance tour. She did not wear it where she was supposed to wear it. She wore it for the opening of Atlanta, and that kind of became the Beyoncé day in Atlanta. I was actually on a flight, and the federation called me and they said that you're on calendar. And then I'm just with myself, and I'm just like crying. I wanted this for 20 years, and it happened, so then I cried.
You're watching The Clique on Hello, I'm Chaiti Narula. So, Gaurav, you're back from Paris again. What
Yes.
have you brought with you in terms of learnings?
I don't know. I have actually hadn't had the time to sit back and think about it. I stayed back for Premier Vision, which was fantastic. I think every day is a learning day for me. It's not about Paris or Grammys or Emmys and Oscars. Every day is such a surreal day for me for the last 2-3 years.
Has it sunk in?
As soon as I'm like a part of it sinks in, I'm ready for the next huge thing that's coming along the way. So it's like okay, I'm working on BAFTAs, but there'll be Oscars, or there's Oscars and I'm working on something else, and there is Cannes, or there is Met Gala, or there is Paris Couture Week. The next show of June will come along, and then there's just so many things happening.
What was your first reaction when you got accepted in that inner sanctum in Paris? It's not easy. I mean, barely anybody makes it.
I cried.
You did?
Yeah, it is a really, really big deal.
I know.
It
So
really
you-
is. I've wanted this for 20 years, and it happened. So then I cried.
And then?
And I was actually on a flight, and the federation called me, and they said that you're on calendar. It was very dramatic, and the flight was taking off, and I was like, okay, and then I had to keep the phone off, and then I'm just with myself next to the window seat, and I'm just like crying. And everybody else on the plane must be like, who's this psycho guy just sitting and crying
By the window.
by the window?
And obviously, you must be itching. How long was that flight to tell people about it? So, how
It
long
was
was
2
the
hours. It was
so
just
after
Bombay,
2 hours,
Delhi.
did you call your brother first? Who did you call?
Yeah, I did.
I'm
I
pretty
did.
sure you
Of
called your
course,
brother
Of course,
first.
I called my brother, I called my parents, I called my life partner, Nafkirat. I called up a few, like, it was just like, I think I was just, firstly, it was such a special moment. I'm glad it happened to me alone. So I had my own time to reflect on it and have that sink in, as you're saying. And since then, it's almost like things are not sinking in because it's just one thing after the other happening constantly.
No, it's huge. It's huge.
Literally like
And
Paris Couture Week, Arohanam just happened. It had amazing media coverage everywhere, like globally right now. You know, we're learning more and more every season.
more than the media coverage, it's a badge of honor because how many can make it? You have Chanel, you have Schiaparelli, you have the biggest Dior, you have the biggest brands in the world, and then
So
you
there's
have
about
Gaurav
28
Gupta.
to 30, 32 shows, 28 to 30 shows that showcase in
So
Paris
that means
Couture
you're at the
Week.
top 30 in the world.
It is a bit like that, which is a really big honor. It is a fantastic
Did you
platform.
manifest this?
In a way, yes. I just worked hard towards it.
You know, one thing is usually in success that you get it, you achieve it. The other thing when it comes to success is sustaining it. How are you sustaining it now?
We are getting better and better with our collections.
I can
with
see
our
that.
casting, with our showmanship. This time we did our show in an old church in the American Cathedral.
Yeah.
With our presentation, with our communication, we've just signed up with Lucien Pages, which is one of the best PR agencies in the world. We have a fantastic partner in Hema, which is Maison Bose, that does international celeb dressing and strategy for us with us, and she's a great brand architect to have on our side. I'm challenging myself after so many years. I'm like, okay, this time we actually came up with metal sculpting for me, which is a very new technique to do. So I'm actually able to challenge myself on a very creative and a very deep level. And in Paris, it's amazing. People really connect with you in a second. Like, in a sense, as soon as they see your collection, there are people stopping me on the streets in Paris now.
That's
it's like
lovely.
The translation from talent to the show to on ground is very fast.
You know, there is a sense of pride amongst everyone who knows you because when you got selected and now you're sustaining it. It's so beautiful to see this journey of yours. And I've also noticed that every successful person, whether it's the most successful designer or an actor or whatever, right? They have somebody who is their go-to, who is their sounding board, where all the support really comes from, which is why you are able to do what you do. Is that true? And I know this is true for you.
Well, it is definitely true. And I am more than lucky to have more than one person. Firstly, it's my brother, who's my business partner since 20 years.
Yeah.
19 years.
He's the business
Is
end
our
of things, and you're the creative side of things.
Yeah, and then we tend to overlap on many occasions on different things. The whole brand has grown and been given birth to and grown and nurtured because of the two of us. And
Yeah.
then the amazing team that we have together, which is we have a great team
Yeah.
structure in place, from our COO to the new CMO that we have to all the kind of C-suite and corporate
Yeah.
structure that we are trying to make of the company. I'm really proud about is that we have created a very beautiful culture in the
Yeah.
company, which is of working hard, of a very creative culture, of not following any norms. So it's
Yeah.
literally a culture which has been created down to a tailor, down to a embroidery karigar. Everybody is a part of that culture.
So I know you've had a couple of runs now, and you don't really need to have another person from the fraternity as a sounding board. But the first time when you went there, I know that Rahul Mishra was already there. Were you turning to him a lot with
Yes, Rahul
a
has
lot
been
of support?
Rahul has been a great friend.
Yeah.
He is a very dear friend to me. And he's been very helpful in so many ways, because when you're going and doing a show at such a scale
Yeah.
in a new city like Paris, where you haven't showcased, there's a lot of learnings, there's a lot of soundboarding. You have to do the production yourself. It's not like how we do shows in India, where the brilliant FDCI and Lakme and Mr. Sethi and everybody provides a already made platform with models and talent and everything on board. There you do everything yourself. You have to look out for every model yourself, every little detail is upon you, so the costs are upon you as well. So it is extremely expensive to do. You find a balanced way of doing
But
it.
there's a high payoff also, because look at this. Globally
Yes.
today, you have one of the top celebrities, some of the top celebrities in the world, now wearing Gaurav Gupta to red carpet. You've
Yeah,
become
yeah,
a
yeah.
red carpet sensation.
Well, they're wearing it to red carpet. Beyonce just wore us to New York Fashion Week, which went
Yeah, I know it went
There
viral.
is-
She was
and there's-
spotted in the streets of New York
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Gaurav
So
Gupta.
they're wearing us for music videos. What we do is not just red carpet dressing. What's happening is, which is great for us, but it's also people are wearing us for iconic moments. Could be Cardi B for her music video, or it
Yeah.
could be Megan when she's debuting Oscars,
Yeah.
or Sharon Stone when she's going for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Or Jenna Ortega for something else. So it is
Yeah.
iconic moments. So Jeremy Pope is coming to the Business of Fashion gala with me. We are creating cultural moments, and that is very exciting.
And it's a matter of pride for everybody hearing this as well, because, an Indian couturier on the global map, it happens very rarely, because I know the competition is extremely fierce internationally
Yeah.
in this particular space. So breaking that competition, were you at any point a nervous wreck? Whether it was before Paris or after Paris, or had any kind of self-doubt, whether did I do this right or should I get that right? Does that happen to you a lot?
It happens to me from time to time. I think that self-doubt is really good.
It is good.
It
yeah.
is very good. It is something that definitely makes you grow. But I'm not a nervous wreck. I always knew that I belonged here. I actually, what is so beautiful, that people around me who know me really well, when they see me in Paris, or during the shows or during different events that we're doing there, they're like, you feel like you're at home. You look like you're at home. For me, it really actually feels like home. So for me, it was always this focus. And now I feel more at peace rather than nervous. So it's been a beautiful journey for me like that.
Of course. And what is the serendipity with Beyoncé all about? We're seeing Beyoncé all over the place. It started with that neon green, then it turned into that baby pink outfit, and now her pictures have gone viral. Beyoncé ex Gaurav Gupta. What is this serendipity all
I
about?
think it just happened. When the magic happens, it just happened. Beyonce's. We did a few looks for her for the Renaissance tour. She did not wear it where she was supposed to wear it. She wore it for the opening of Atlanta, and that kind of became the Beyonce day in Atlanta that day. In fact, her Renaissance movie opens with that outfit as well.
Yeah.
So it's just happening. The magic is just.
No, but how did
naturally
it first come about?
Well, we
with
had,
Beyoncé?
as I said, Maison Bose.
Yeah.
Which is Hema Shri Bose, is
Sure.
my really good friend and our partner in LA. She and I have been in touch with a few stylists who were working on the tour. Shiona, her stylist, who's already dressed her thrice now in Gaurav Gupta, is kind of directly in touch with us, is fond of the brand. It kind of is relationship with the stylist, then talent as well. So like with
course.
Cardi B, Colin Carter was there for our January show.
Yeah.
And 7 days later, one of our looks was at Grammys on Cardi. So it's just happening. The magic is happening.
Are we going to see Beyonce in an Indian silhouette next, which is a Gaurav Gupta?
Well, she already wore a sari gown, which is the green one. It's actually
that's a sari gown.
It is a sari gown.
No, but a quintessential Indian silhouette.
I do some
You do some.
I do some, but I don't work on things in a very planned and a structured way. And I'm like, oh, I need to do this on this one. It always depends on the mood of the air right now.
Yeah.
That's why I see each of these moments as a collaboration. You know, I think Beyonce with a country vibe right now wanted that pantsuit from our latest Paris collection. And she put a hat on it. And it really changed the whole look.
Yeah.
So it really depends upon what's happening in their life, what's happening in my collections, and how do they come together.
One Hollywood celebrity, in your opinion, that looks the best in Gaurav Gupta Couture?
I don't have favorites.
That's lovely.
Because I feel like there is so much beauty in so many people, and it's very hard for me to have favorites.
So
now
that you mention you don't have favorites, it's redundant even for me to ask which Bollywood celebrity looks great in Gaurav Gupta.
Yeah, it's just
but
like there's
pick
so
one,
many.
Pick one, don't be...
Deepika is beautiful, Aditi is beautiful, Alia Bhatt is having a moment. I think Alia is the new fashion girl. She's really pushing the boundaries and looking super cool. She's really feeling herself. It's just, there's so many. There's Ranveer Singh is super cool.
So according to you, who wore Gaurav Gupta best? And say one, not so many names. From Cardi B, Beyonce, Tiona Paris, Ranveer Singh, or Lizzo, or Jenna Ortega. Fab.
I think Cardi B at Grammy, because that became like a moment in time which is just imprinted on a subconscious at a global scale.
I do know that you are also mentoring a couple of young designers from India. Tell me a little more about that, because it's very important that they learn from somebody who's made it like you.
Well, I don't know if I've made it. I'm in the process of making it.
No, I think you've made it. Now I'm telling you.
There's nothing. I don't think anybody makes it. It's always a journey. I'm mentoring in the sense, not specifically, but whenever I meet younger designers or different brands in the country and we talk, whatever occasion, I think I'm able to have mentoring conversations with them, which is great.
And one couturier from India, in your opinion, with the maximum amount of promise that you see?
I think whoever had to be on their way is on their way.
Oh, please. Can you name one? Name one. He's so catty.
I think Sabyasachi has a very defined language.
Yeah.
They have opened their own store in New York, which is, I'm looking forward to how that pans out. And I love Anamika Khanna's detail in her workmanship. And that is, for me, truly couture. That's always been very beautiful.
And same for international. One international couturier that you really look up to, draw inspiration from, or just look at it and say, wow.
I love Schiaparelli. They are just so surreal, and they have had a massive new age imprint. They kind of have been formulating a new age.
You're liking the taxidermied animals and all the shock factor on the runway?
Yeah, I love it. I love all of it. I think they are...
But I thought that shock factor works best for the press, and in reality, the sellability is not that high.
You'd be surprised. Yeah, it's not that high, but there are a few people. But that's what couture is. It's
Yeah.
about expanding your mind. It's not just about wearing beautiful gowns. It's about expanding your mind and where does art meet fashion in a most pure form.
Right.
And that's what I love about Schiaparelli. And I love, like all of us, love the latest Margiela show.
Of course.
When John Galliano is playing with the skin and the body and pubic hair.
Love it. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I say this is the mind of a creative genius.
Yeah.
You know, you're artistic. There's a lot of art in the work that you're doing. Would you call yourself an artist first and then a designer?
We are all artists. But
Yeah.
I definitely see myself as an artist.
A fashion faux pas that you just cannot get over, like you made something and you just said, oops. And then obviously you lost sleep for many days after that.
I don't have these
Faux pas moments.
faux pas moments. I don't have favorites or faux pas or trends.
No,
or-
but everyone has some
I
faux
don't
pas or
have.
the
I
other.
think the faux pas is like it's just about.
I mean,
if
I have
I'm not
used-
feeling good,
Okay.
is a faux pas.
I have used the F-bomb on live television. That's my faux pas. Similarly, you must have had a faux pas.
I think for me, it would be certain collections in my life. I would be like, oh, I'm not so happy with the full collection. But then I reflect upon it in time, and then I'm like, okay, I was not in a really good mental space at that time, or I was not in a very good emotional space at that
sure.
time. And I'm able to see life as a holistic journey. And instead of saying like, oh, that's a faux pas, that's something, it's what it is.
What is the quintessential Gaurav Gupta bride and a quintessential Gaurav Gupta groom for 2024 look like? So I'm talking about fabrics, I'm talking about silhouettes, I'm talking about structure. If you had to define.
The Gaurav Gupta person, be it the bride or the groom, is an experimental person, is a
Right.
thinking person, is somebody who wants to have fun, is throwing cocktail parties, is probably having a theme cocktail party or a theme reception, is doing a destination wedding. It could be a 50 people wedding in the mountains, or it could be a 500 people wedding in Rome or in
Yeah.
Ibiza or
Got
in
it.
LA. Like I have a bride there who's getting married in LA and is taking something for her reception, which is from one of her Paris collection gowns. Colors are many, but very specific within that many. Like this season, we have this new ocean blue, which is a very specific light blue, which is not like the Jaipur blue that Indian brands do usually.
Fits well with something borrowed, something blue. A sixpence in
It
your
could
shoe.
be, yes.
Yeah.
The world culture is becoming one more and more. The Gaurav Gupta bride and groom are very global.
Yeah.
They are Indian global right now, and there are lots of white weddings that we're doing as well now.
Now, I want to know if somebody wants to do a traditional fera. I hear a lot of cocktail party and I hear a lot of reception from you when I'm listening to you, right? I'm hearing you. What about feras, the traditional quintessential
They wear it
Indian
for
feras?
Sangeet as well.
No,
Sangeet
but would you like to see them wear for their actual feras?
they are doing that now. You'd be like,
Yeah.
because we have so many lehengas
And would you see the
now.
bride wearing blue for it?
No, the bride from us is wearing more champagne, gold, even ivory.
Yeah.
Not that much blue.
Blue
but
would be
she's-
more for the cocktails and the parties.
Blue is more for the cocktails and the parties, yeah, or the reception.
And the Gaurav Gupta groom for 2024.
And my groom colors are quite classic. They are like black, blue, white. That's
Would you
it.
like to experiment with more colors this year?
I'll see. Because there's so much detailing in the sculpting on our lapels of
Yeah.
tuxedos. There is
Yeah.
a panther embroidered in three-dimensional metallic embroidery on the sleeve or the shoulder, which
Yeah.
Junior and TR wore for.
I saw.
Yeah, for Oscars.
Oscars,
And
yes,
that
I
went
saw.
viral as well. And that was that moment as well.
Yeah.
So he already has, the mind itself is so experimental
Yeah.
that I tend to keep the colors quite neutral because
Correct.
there's so much
Because
more
otherwise
hap-
everything too
there's
much
so
would
mu-
happen.
Because it's already so much on a man. Like,
Yeah.
especially the blue velvet, then the embroidery. So you keep it classic in the color tones.
Right. Your worst nightmare as a couturier?
Not being able to draw.
What do you mean
I
not
don't
being
know.
able to draw?
It is the worst nightmare, right?
What do you
I want to be
mean?
able to draw or drape. I think that
What
is
is
the
not
worst.
being able to draw?
I
You
don't know.
just
What
take-
if something
you
happens
just
to my
take-
hands? I
Oh,
want to draw.
Then you can dictate
No,
AI
no.
or
I
have an
no,
assistant
no.
who draws
I have
for you.
to be able to draw.
You have to be able to draw.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your worst nightmare. Interesting. What made you foray into ready to wear?
It was a natural progress of
Hmm.
the brand. When we were showcasing at Paris Couture Week, we had stores approaching us like Neiman Marcus, Bergdorf Goodman, etc. And we tied up with these partners. And we launched our ready to wear, which is still kind of evening. It's very directly coming out of our couture.
Right.
But going forward, we are going to make it more and more day as well.
And a lot of your design speak seems to come from a rather spiritual place. So whether it was Hiranyagarbha in Paris or the latest collection you showcase, I see international media, also the interviews that you've given, there's a lot of spirituality attached to whatever you're creating. Would you call yourself an extremely spiritual person?
I think all of us are very spiritual people.
Not
We
necessarily.
just don't realize it.
No, not necessarily.
We just need to tap into that. We are all born as spirits, right? And as souls. So we
And
just
that's your thinking.
so and we all
Yeah.
are. And everyone's purpose in life is to go towards that spiritual
You
self.
are a spiritual person. That means. If you
So-
talk like that, then that means you are a very spiritual person. So
Well, that's what I feel like. I feel like everyone is. Yeah.
I'm not.
You are. You're just waiting to
I'm
find
just
out.
waiting to find. Okay. I hope 2024 is your year, Gaurav. All the best for
Thank
the
you.
years going forward and in
Thank-
everything that you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank
Thanks.
you.